Hey, this is Brian, wanting to let you know that the MovieFilm Podcast now has a Patreon. If you head over to patreon.com/MovieFilm Podcast and hit subscribe for only $5 a month, you'll gain access to a special feed where you'll find every commentary we've ever recorded and every episode we do moving forward, ad-free and without any interruptions. We are very grateful for our sponsors, and our free feed isn't going anywhere. But we wanted to offer an option we believe is the most satisfying way to enjoy the show. No ads, no interruptions. Your subscription will also go a long way in helping to support us and helping to sustain production of this show. So, if you're interested and able and want to enjoy the most satisfying way to enjoy the podcast, please head over to patreon.com/MovieFilm Podcast and subscribe. We'd be very grateful. And now, on with the show.
Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
The machine sent a Terminator back to the time before the war to kill my mother, Sarah Connor.
Sir, let me save her.
Come with me if you want to live! Now, soldier!
This is all wrong. John sent me here to save you.
From the Terminator that was sent back to kill me, I know, but we already took care of him.
I've been waiting for you.
The time John sent you to, it no longer exists. We can stop Judgment Day from happening.
I'll be back.
Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
Brian, there are times when I hear the phrase, there is no fate but what we make for ourselves, and it feels like a threat.
Yeah.
And I feel like today's movie might be one of those times.
Yeah. Terminator Genisys, with a spelling that just... I've been putting this in my calendar when we're going to record this. I was telling someone we were doing a commentary for this in texts, and every time I'm like, this cannot be the spelling. And then I'm also like embarrassed. I'm like, I wrote the person, like, oh yeah, we're doing the Terminator Genisys this week. I swear this is not, I know how to spell Genesis. I don't know why they chose to spell it this way for the title. Like, I'm not crazy,
I have to say, to his credit, David Ellison, who was producer of this movie and now chair of Paramount, he said we may have made a mistake with that title.
Oh, did he really?
With the spelling, yeah. So,
oh, funny.
I give props for that, if nothing else.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as we're bringing it up now, I did see that it has to do with like the computer prompt, like systems, SYS. Right. That's why. But it's, I don't know, it's messy.
It is at that, but yeah. Messy might be the word that most applies to this movie.
Yeah. I gotta admit, when you proposed doing this, I actually got really excited because I had not seen this since it came out in theaters. I remembered not liking it, but I couldn't remember why. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when we revisit these things, I soften a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when something comes out and it's new and it's like, this is the thing, this is what's happening now in the world of the story that you love, it can feel like a little more painful when you're not on board. So with time, I was curious how this would play for me. And so I can't wait to get into it with you.
Well, then I don't think we should kick that can down the curb any longer then.
All right.
We are watching 2015's Terminator Genisys, which celebrated its 10th anniversary this year, which is either a blink of an eye or an eternity, depending on the lens you view the world through. And I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest.
Yep.
And so, hey, if you want to watch along with us, you certainly can do that. If not, we'll try to keep our conversation interesting. For longtime listeners, that we are both pretty big fans of the Terminator franchise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So certainly have many thoughts about this one. I suspect. I kind of like it. We haven't discussed at all, like kind of where we landed after our revisits of this. I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Curious to see where this takes us. So we will hit play on 3. We'll do the usual thing. 1, 2, 3, play. Brian, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, play.
I was. I was shocked as I always do with these, I like to look at the box office.
Yeah.
The budget on this was $155 million, which is like oddly responsible.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know how much this grossed in the US?
I think it was like 90, right?
Yep. 89.7 million. I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah,
that's like pre-COVID, like post-COVID, all bets are off, but
yeah.
wow, this did not hit. But worldwide it made
400 something, right?
Yeah, 440 million. So
yeah. Which I think the break even was 450.
Well,
and so international didn't even carry him to that.
Yeah, but what's crazy is that total worldwide makes this the second highest grossing entry after Terminator 2.
It's a strange world we live in.
It's a strange world, exactly. I don't know what to do with that fact, but crazy.
Yeah.
I've been looking at like my screen now. I'm like, I should watch this movie. Oh yeah, this. This was funny too because I don't tend to rewatch the sequels. I've seen Terminator 3. Well, sequel 2, of course, goes without saying. Yeah. Probably one of the movies I've seen most in my life. 3, I'm kind of in the middle on. You've helped me appreciate it a little bit more. And then 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
I watched once and then a second time with you when we do these commentaries. So I got to say, I am looking forward to revisiting Dark Fate. But this one, I was surprised how much I did remember about it.
Sure.
Just a lot of moments like the flashback from an alternative timeline in Reese's mind and, the Genisys thing and the hologram of the little boy representing Genisys. There's a lot that I was like, oh, I kind of remember this movie. I don't know. How was it for you?
Well, first of all, I should say here's my hometown right here, San Francisco, just getting obliterated, which is
a lot of people leaving their hearts in San Francisco here.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I saw this one time before I saw it in the theater, and I was intrigued to revisit, kind of with that same idea of like, well, what does 10 years of detachment feel like? Mm-hmm. And it's a weird one because I honestly, I'm like, there's about like a third of this that I would say is like pretty good. Like I like, and I would say most of that third is like this front portion.
Agreed.
Showing the future war and showing sort of what leads into the original Terminator.
Or what if you sort of Back to the Future 2'd?
Yes.
Like the Biff world, Biff 1985. What if you accidentally... That's what they keep doing, like it or not. They keep repeating. So they send a Terminator earlier, and then they send a Terminator earlier, and then they send 2 Terminator. Like, it's like how many times can you do that and affect this one, either 84 or 90, whatever it is, And it's like, so what if something skewed that a little bit? Yeah. And then all bets are off and we don't know how things are going to play out and the dates could be shoved around. That's interesting.
Yeah. So what the filmmakers were supposedly inspired by was Back to the Future 2, as you said. That's what Letta Kilogridis, who's one of the writers.
Maybe that's where I got that. Like it's stuck in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get that. And the way it sort of remixes specific, scenes and elements from the first film at the beginning. I like tracked with all that stuff for the most part. I think there's a portion in the movie where I think the wheels fall off, and I suppose we'll point it out when we get there. But even this early stuff. So I should say, first of all, Jai Courtney as Kyle, his casting did not work for me before. It still does not work for me as Kyle.
Yeah.
However, I will say with 10 years of remove, I didn't mind him so much in the movie just as like a presence, but I just don't buy him as the same character that Michael Biehn plays.
Agreed. I don't know why I thought about it. Oh, you know when I thought about it? When John and Sarah are at those Kyle and Sarah are at those lockers and they're changing. Yeah. And I was just picturing what that scene would have been like with Michael Biehn, and I was like, it would be a completely different scene.
Yeah. So that casting is really goofy to me. I know that Wilson Bethel was one of the people who was in the running, and he plays Bullseye in the Daredevil series. And he's like a dead ringer for Michael Biehn. And I was like, why would you not cast that guy? But also even Boyd Holbrook, I could see him as, you know.
Me too. I saw that in the some of the trivia. I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's closer.
Right? Like Jai Courtney just doesn't, I mean, he doesn't, I feel bad kicking around Jai Courtney because I feel like he's gotten kicked around a lot. And I actually didn't mind him in this movie just as a performer, you know?
Same, but just not in this role. I
just not in this role.
A couple people are miscast in this movie.
I did really like Jason Clarke in this early portion, though, as John.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't like him as the you know what they do with the character later, but as like an older version, as the same, right? As just this. If we just take this as this is grown up Eddie Furlong, I can buy it.
You know what? Yes. However, he just has. It's interesting. He has a twinkle in his eye and a little bit of menace or something. Like I wish maybe he was a little warmer.
Yeah.
While feeling tough and, you know, and grizzled. I don't know. I seesaw a little bit with him.
I think it goes to.
Well, that's a nice smile. Yeah. I mean, it's sorry. Go ahead.
Come on, you wouldn't follow that man into the mouth of hell, you know?
Let me say, he's all right. He's all right, but I would be interested who else was on their vision board.
Well, I know Tom Hardy was who I think Alan Taylor wanted Tom Hardy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's an odd one, right?
Yeah. I don't know if the energy's right there.
I think I agree with that. I definitely think that like if you cast Tom Hardy, then you can't have Jai Courtney. Like,
yeah, right. I'm seeing two of them. Yeah.
I think fundamentally, and I'm sure we'll circle back around to this. These movies, after it feels like after the fourth one, they just don't know what to do with John Connor.
Yeah.
Right, and so, you know, here's the biggest problem with this movie. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not the result of some, you know, artistic expression that desperately needed to be given voice.
Yeah.
It's the result of a very complicated rights process that saw one studio sell the rights to a hedge fund that sold it to here, and then it ends up here, and hey, we got this thing we paid a bunch of money for, so we got to make something.
Yeah.
And that's how you get Terminator Genisys. And so in that sense, it's about as cynical as it gets, and that's really frustrating because that cynicism shines through in every crevice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, that's funny. I have so many things I wrote down to talk about, but like, you know, I feel a little bad about Alan Taylor. I mean, I'm just reading some of the stories about his experience on here. Yeah. Like, I'm not quick to like blame him necessarily, right? But this movie feels so like passionless. Mm-hmm. It just feels like Order of Business or something, kind of like what you're saying. And like, I was trying to figure out why I wasn't connecting with it. And there's a couple of reasons. I think obviously we know the first two very, very, very well. So there's a lot of nostalgia associated with those specifically, but also those movies have a very specific tone,
right?
And a style. And so when you watch something else that is referencing the movies that I like, but doesn't feel like it tonally connects with those, I'm already a little disoriented. Right. And also, you know, there's just like a lot of things that need to be carried out. Oh, we got to stop this thing. We got to help each other. That's great. But like, so there's a lot of tasks happening. But when I think of Terminator 2, obviously I love the action, but I also think of, man, I really buy a boy crying at the end when his robot friend is or being lowered into the lava. And I think one of my favorite moments in the movie is when John risks everything to go stop his mom from killing Dyson because she's fighting for humanity, but she's about to lose her own humanity by doing that. And he's like, no, I won't let my mom do that.
Right.
Like there's nothing like that character-wise in this film. Right. They're just people that are pushing a plot along, really.
Well, and that's really it, right? Now this entire sequence here, if we view that this is the lead up to, you know, this was just before the opening credits of the original Terminator.
Yeah.
I buy it. You know,
Actually, by the way, this is very cool.
I agree, and it beats the shit out of whatever Terminator Salvation was doing insofar as the Future War stuff.
Yeah, right. Because this, well, I guess I have to go against what I just said. This at least visually resembles what we've seen of the Future War.
Yeah, and it's got the blue tints and everything. That's But here's the thing. Okay, so we talk about Terminator 2. And I think most people would agree that when you say greatest sequels of all time, that's in the top 3 at least, right?
Yeah, sure.
But that's a sequel that did not need to exist, right? And why was there such a long delay between the first and the second one? It was ultimately Jim Cameron being like, "Look, if I come up with an idea, we'll make it." And he just so happened to come up with a friggin' amazing idea.
Yeah,
right. But there is about 2 movies worth of story in this premise. And this is something I have said many a time. And with every new film that comes out, it feels like Marge Simpson in that Chanel dress.
Yeah.
Just trying to tweak it a little so she can wear it one more time, you know?
Yep.
You know? Yeah. And so I like this here where they're recreating the opening sequence of the 84 Terminator. Man, you know what? I applaud the hustle.
I remember feeling giddy the first time I saw this.
Yeah.
I got a little giddy last night revisiting it. I agree. Obviously, it's the thing that I love.
Yeah, and so that all of that stuff I mostly track with, but then it's kind of like once they run out of the runway that the previous films are already established, they don't really have anywhere to go.
Right.
So it is appropriate since we got so many Game of Thrones people. It's like they ran out of George R.R. Martin novels, and then suddenly they got to finish the show.
That's great. Yeah,
right.
That's a good example.
Alan Taylor,
yeah,
his girlfriend was a storyboard artist. She read this script, and she said, "Don't make this movie."
I hope he married her.
And he had met with Arnold Schwarzenegger at this point, and he obviously has the affinity for the Terminator films, and I kind of I can understand him being like, yeah, but it's the Terminator.
Oh, yeah, because I guess he knew the script had problems, but he was thinking, I can fix it. I can fix it, and obviously those are famous last words, but
he said it in a Schwarzenegger voice. We can fix it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm obviously not even like close to having an opportunity like this, but in a scenario where I was, this would be next to impossible to turn down, because I would think, no, but I love this series. I'll figure it out. Like I'll do it right. I can understand. I can understand that impulse. I don't know, you, or would you be afraid to touch it?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of being nowhere near qualified and having no illusions about being qualified for it. Is that I don't even have to contemplate that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if somebody asked me, like, if you were president, how would you negotiate that? I'm like, well, I'm never going to happen. Don't need to think about it. You know?
Right.
It's freeing in that regard. You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, before Alan Taylor, we should say, I mean, Alan Taylor, who made his bones on Game of Thrones, but that should be the title of his biography, by the way. Made my bones on Game of Thrones.
It's good.
And it's like him shrugging his shoulders, you know.
Yeah. It almost sounds like a country song. I made my bones on Game of Thrones.
But he was coming off Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
Which, like, as calling cards go, that's maybe not the one, you know. But before him, Ang Lee was being courted, and Ryan Johnson, and like Ryan Johnson. Tell me you wouldn't want to see his take. Talk about the guy to do
shake it up,
right? Like he would be the guy to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that a lot of the stuff in this movie is very similar to the thematic stuff that we see in Looper.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah,
you got like 2 sets of memories and things like that. You know.
Yeah.
I think even before it landed at Paramount, they wanted Justin Lin to do it, which I'm going to say, I liked his Star Trek movie, so I would kind of be down for that, to be honest.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, so that reminds me, because I was thinking, like, I like him as a director, Lin, but again, I'm like, I want these movies to at least feel like they have some of the same vocabulary.
Sure.
Even just visually, sound, whatever. And I was like, I don't know if Lin would do that. But I do want to then say out loud that when I was watching this last night, I was getting a little frustrated. But then I was also like, Brian, it isn't the thing you want it to be, and it's never going to be the thing you want it to be. So just watch it for what it is.
Yeah.
And try to form an opinion on it. And so I did do that. And I still feel what I already said about it, where there's some good stuff. There's some stuff that feels like, man, just even on a script level or like a character level, just how much the previous two movies are. I mean, the first one is like part romance.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And there's just so much humanity in those first two movies. And I really think those, in addition to the groundbreaking visual effects and the action, I think that's why those movies endure and are so rewatchable. The characters are so interesting and fun to watch. And this, there's a handful of moments that are okay, but just even the direction of this kind of has a journeyman feel to it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of personality to this movie or like a lot of passion was injected into it. Right. And to be fair, again, to Alan Taylor, I'm not super familiar with his work. And I know Game of Thrones was really strong often, but Emilia Clarke said that working on this, obviously she knew Taylor from Game of Thrones, and said that she just didn't even recognize him. Like he had been
really
eaten and chewed up, she said.
By the process.
Yeah. And she didn't enjoy working on this. And speaking about him, her quote is, "He was not the director I remembered. He didn't have a good time. No one had a good time."
Wow. Well, yeah, supposedly because the Josh Trank Fantastic Four was filming around the same time, and people on that shoot had shirts saying, "At least we're not Terminator."
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, no way. And then I saw it backed up on multiple places. So that's why. I mean, if that's a movie that is completely crumbling, looking at you and being like, well, at least I'm not on that one. Wow.
Yeah, well, and I think it gets to trying to turn the spigot into a perpetual on position, right? And that's how the studio was looking at Terminator purely as an asset.
Oh yeah, sure.
And this goes to what we were saying before. By the way, real quick, Matt Smith, has anybody been more mistreated by the big studio franchise machine than this guy?
It's so interesting you say that. I was gonna say, speaking of assets, looking at Jai Courtney's abs here. Sorry, I have like five things. One, did you know that this at one point Cameron was going to include a scene like this, the time travel scene in Terminator 2? It was in a draft of the script.
Interesting.
They just realized they couldn't afford it, but it's in the novelization for Terminator 2. I thought that was kind of interesting. Matt Smith. Okay. This is kind of related to Jai Courtney, but in an insane cosmic coincidence, Zachy. Last night I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Jai Courtney.
Okay.
And when was the last time?
Yeah, right.
Someone was talking about him in the last couple of years. And someone was saying, I'm not a fan, but they watched him in something recently. I think it was called Dangerous Animals. And they were like, he's actually really good in it.
Yeah.
For the first time for me personally, not me, but the podcaster, I felt like he was cast correctly. And I just haven't liked him in anything else. And then another host said, have you ever seen him in Vikings? And the person was like, no. And then the other guy said, that was the perfect character for him.
Okay.
He excelled in that role. And I think that's why he kept getting cast for a while, but he kept getting put in roles where he didn't
suit him.
Yeah. So anyway, going to Matt Smith, it made me think of Matt Smith, because when I saw him in this, I thought, it seems like a lot of people love Matt Smith, right, and they're really rooting for him, but he's never hit for me. And
because you didn't ever watch Doctor Who.
I was going to say, I think similarly, I never saw him in the role where he hit. Yeah. I've only seen him in all the roles he's gotten as a result of that. So I've never got to have that experience.
Right.
And so going all the way back to what you said, that's unfortunate, because clearly he has a thing that he excels at.
Yeah.
But he's been placed in a lot of things where he hasn't either been able or just hasn't been cast correctly to excel.
Yeah. I mean, that's really, and that's really unfortunate for both them guys,
Yeah.
But what we were talking about earlier, right? Like the structure of this film is not about, can we tell a worthy story within the Terminator world that carries it forward, that honors what came before. I don't doubt that all of that thinking was in there somewhere. I don't believe that everybody gets involved with the best of intentions, right?
Mhm.
But fundamentally, the purpose of this film was to repurpose certain aspects of the prior films and set up a status quo that you could continue on with.
Right. So you can make, well, obviously, because, they purchased the rights, they intend to make many more movies.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, we got to have the Arnold Terminator, obviously, and he's got to be a good guy. And we want to go back and make the characters younger, but we need Sarah to be like the Sarah from Terminator 2. But, and so it's like the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to have a T-1000 because everybody knows the T-1000,
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit like the 2009 Star Trek movie that was very successful, where it uses a time, a nexus point in time to create a reboot that remixes certain aspects but gives you something similar to what you had before.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, and by the way, I should say, I think this is really cool when old Arnold is like, "We've been waiting for you." That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's good subversion.
I think the way that they face mapped his younger features onto this body double is pretty impressive, actually.
I was going to bring that up because this is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I actually think it might look better than Tarkin in Rogue One.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
This looks, because we know Schwarzenegger's face so well, our eyes are going to just catch things. But it looks a little more lifelike to me than the Tarkin thing. Feels a little more rubbery to me.
Yeah. But like right here, we got young Sarah, but she's like the T2 Sarah.
And
in
84.
In 84, exactly.
Yep.
And so, at some point, it's all just, to quote Doctor Who, it's just a bunch of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Right.
And nothing makes sense, and nothing really makes us care. And I don't understand the thinking behind, let's just wipe out everything.
Yeah.
That quote unquote happened in the previous two films. Or it's certainly in the previous two, meaning T3 and T4, but I mean even T1 and T2.
Yeah. Remixing, as you put it.
Yeah.
It feels a little more satisfying.
Now that said, Arnold is so damn good in this movie. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is, it comes up with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And he is willing to talk about Star Wars and some of the other movies, but whenever he talks about Indiana Jones, he loves that character. He's the one who keeps pushing for sequels, right? And it feels like this is that role that Schwarzenegger, he's had great success, obviously, but this is the role, for him, his most iconic role, and a role that he seems to really love playing. And so you can tell he's invested.
Every single time he's played the role, even in the movies I didn't like, I have always liked him, and that's very much the case in this too.
Yeah. This is kind of cool. 84, and then we get a T-1000.
Right. But sorry, just to cut you off, I don't mean to cut you off. Like, why is he a cop? Right.
I had the same thought, just so we would have some sort of little thing in our brain that, yeah, makes us think of Robert Patrick in the cop uniform. That's a harder one. I know this guy, he does a pretty good job. Actually, no, he does a really good job.
The
T-1000. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's got like the cool dead stare and and I don't even remember who did it in the next one, but man, Robert Patrick, like they found the guy.
Yep.
The guy who's got like, he can put on this folksy charm when he needs to, but then he can go completely dead-eyed and be the most terrifying thing you've ever seen. And but he's not even big and bulky. He's very lithe. It's like, he's perfect. And so it's, you aren't recasting Schwarzenegger in all these movies. We get Schwarzenegger. So it's almost unfortunate for these other actors because they're trying to do the thing that the other guy already did so well. They just, and it's just a little unfair to them because they just can't.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because with this film, and it was coming 6 years after Salvation. You know, they had to decide whether. I do like how they just replicated that shot.
Yeah,
of him
that's
with
cool.
The Nikes. Apparently, they didn't make those Nikes anymore.
Mm.
So, like, they had to go to Nike and be like, "Can you special make these shoes from like 30 years ago?"
Yeah. I love that. I love that they're like, yeah, sure. Like they just can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they had to decide what to keep and what to ignore from the sequels.
Yeah.
And so they decided we're just going to ignore Terminator 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And I think that's where all this madness started. Where in every movie just ignores the one before it.
Yeah, like we can do that?
Yeah.
we can keep starting over
again and again. And that's the weird thing, right? Because I have to imagine the thinking was in Terminator Salvation comes out, it doesn't do particularly well. Or it doesn't do as well as they would have hoped. And so they're kind of like, okay, what was missing? Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, so they're like, if we come back and we have Arnold back, then that'll be the thing. But what you start realizing is I just don't think there's an audience for this franchise anymore.
Not as large a one as there was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just we alluded to it earlier, but just to finish the thought with the Salvation, you know, in this one we were saying we like the Future War because it just even the colors look like the Future War in the first two. But Salvation, for some reason, was this weird yellow dusty look. And I have no idea why that decision was made.
Yeah. So I had totally forgotten that this cop character is the younger version of J.K. Simmons.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Which is, I like that.
J.K. Simmons is fun in this movie, I have to say.
I agree. He brings a kind of a fun energy that was missing a little bit, like a little humor.
Yeah.
Not given a ton to do, but
yeah, it definitely feels like, you know, they had certain trilogy ends in mind.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Right.
Great point.
And he would have factored into that.
Yep.
So Emilia Clarke, who I like a lot, and as an actor, but also just as a person, I think I've said before, probably one of my favorite interviews I've done. She was just so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not great in this movie.
Yeah, I want better things for her. You know, I think she's doing it. She's doing what's asked of her, but like there has to be, it can't just be on the page. Like
right.
The actor has to embody, like they have to have it inside of. I mean, you know, Linda Hamilton, just that grit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's when she's just doing the pull-ups in that room, you're like, oh, that's the person.
Right.
You know, and I'm watching Emilia Clarke try to contort into that person, I feel like.
Yeah, and what I read is that the studio wanted Brie Larson.
Which is interesting.
When I can see that.
Physically, I can, definitely.
But actually, Tatiana Maslany was on the list. I was like, I think I would have liked her.
Yeah, that feels a little closer. I mean, again, like the thing that the actor themselves just inherently brings, like a grittiness or a.
See, I feel like Lena Headey kind of cracked it in the television show. Right?
Yep. Because she doesn't necessarily resemble her,
right?
But she exudes the thing. She exudes the Sarah Connor-ness.
Yeah, that's right.
Another Game of Thrones actress.
Yeah, exactly.
Brie Larson, that's so interesting.
Yeah, well, because she would have been coming off of her Oscar win at that point, right?
Oh yeah, like Room.
Yeah,
was around then. Yeah,
so I think that would make sense why. Alan Taylor wanted Emilia Clarke because he had already worked with her, and that this experience worked out well for the both of them. So I'm sure she's very grateful that he stumped for her.
That's funny.
But this whole so movie 1 is a love story, as we talked about. Movie 2 is a father-son story. And so I think that it's like, oh, well, this one we're going to do like, oh, you know, the Terminator is Sarah's father. And he's, you know, he's like the wacky father-in-law for Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah. And even when Jason Clarke shows up again and it's like, hey, Dad, you know, like I was just like, what a weird family.
That part, well, I was going to say this later, but since we got there, that part bugged the piss out of me.
Wait, why?
when he says, "Well, Dad," because I'm like, you've known him for decades. You've never once called him Dad. Why would you suddenly call? Why would that's not your relationship with him?
Right.
Right? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Other than the plot needed to get us to that point, so Kyle would learn the truth.
Right.
I hate that stuff.
Yeah. See, this whole sort of flashbacky stuff with the Genisys going online is like,
see, it's
I
like
remember
Looper
this so well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. It's interesting. So yeah, we get the older Schwarzenegger, and the conceit is, well, he's got living tissue.
Yeah.
Right. So he's aging.
Yeah.
And apparently that idea came from a conversation with James Cameron.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. I was like, that's very smart. That feels very Cameron to even just think of that. Like, well, obviously. You're like, oh.
So here's what I'll say about Jim Cameron. I kind of love that he basically cut bait on these Terminator movies a while ago in terms of the ones that don't involve him.
Uh-huh.
But he's like, you know what? I'm always going to be there for my boy Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, here's how you include Arnold. They're like, yeah, okay. He's like, this movie's great. This is what I consider Terminator 3.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I just said that because Arnold was in it and I wanted to.
I know. It's funny. I'm of two minds. One, I'm like, man, screw you. Like, because I showed up thinking you had my back. But on the other hand, like, he had Schwarzenegger's back. They're buds. And there's something
he's there for his boy.
There's something charming about that. Especially for someone as like, I don't know, cold as him, or like
I would have said mercurial.
Yeah. Or just that he feels no need to be nice.
He feels no remorse, no pity, and he absolutely will not stop.
That'd be hilarious if that was like a quote that originally came from his wife on the her name's from the first movie, the producer, Gail Ann Hurd.
Yep.
That was like a quote from a fight that they had, and so he included it. Like,
I think that the setup here, this idea that Sarah and Kyle need to screw one day.
Yes.
It just feels very forced.
Puts a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like, I say this all the time. I think the love story aspect of the first film is just it's one of my favorite elements of it. This idea that Kyle is fighting his feelings for her, and because it's his job to protect her, and then it just kind of breaks through, and he says, "I came across time for you. I love you," and it's this very heartfelt, beautiful moment, right? That's what I love about that movie. And again, I think Michael Biehn just like, he's so vulnerable and he projects this, he's so outmatched, but he's there to lay down his life for her. I love that, Yeah,
because he's got grit, but there's also a sweetness to him.
Exactly.
Which I'm kind of missing from this portrayal.
Yeah. Again, this is what it comes down to. I'm like, this is not a straight up ground floor reboot. You are beholden to those prior versions. And I have a tough time seeing either of these folks as the characters they're supposed to be inhabiting.
Same.
Well,
and also, you could have done a version where it's like, okay, now we're aware that the Terminator himself is like, well, when are you going to breed? When are you going to mate?
Yeah.
And so now there's like a pressure put on them.
Yeah.
And you can imagine then there'd just be some weird resistance feelings about it. But it would be a nice love story if it's like, yeah, but despite all that, they're just destined to fall. Like, they do fall in love under any circumstance. That would be kind of a sweet story.
Right. See, I think the other problem is that this Sarah, she is a fundamentally different person.
Yes.
Right. So, because, the movie establishes that at some point, by the way, what kind of goofy ass backstory? You don't even get into it. Oh, like a Terminator came and killed her parents when she was a little kid. And like, that seems important that's a whole other story, right?
I have feelings on that, but I don't want to interrupt your thought.
Okay. So now she has been raised basically from the time she was 10 by a Terminator. Well, this is not the same character we have seen before. Full stop.
Right.
So who is she? We don't know anything about her,
Right. Well, and then it gets to that other thing, which you just cannot waste time thinking about. But it's like, well, if you were to like conceive, on March 21st, of some year, that's one kid. If you were to conceive like August 28th later, that's another kid. You know what I mean? So it's like, just because they have a baby doesn't mean it's going to be John Connor.
That's exactly.
You know, that was going to be the plot of Back to the Future 2, where Marty, the conception of Marty was threatened, and Marty had to make sure that they like stay together and conceive. And I'm like, yeah, but if it's too much. It's too much, you know, because then it's like, would it even be Marty?
That's a great point. Wow.
Okay. So what you were talking about with her backstory, it was this scene that was driving me crazy. So obviously Kyle is confused. He was sent back with a set understanding of things and what he needs to do. So he keeps asking Sarah, like, wait, no, this isn't what I understand. What's going on? And she's like, just giving him all, like blowing him off.
Yeah.
Like you don't even need to know. It doesn't matter. But it's bad screenwriting stuff, because if she just says it, it would be too straightforward and exposition-y and whatever. So, you know, you have to get it in dribs and drabs and pull it out of her. Like Lost was like all about that, you know, someone just give me an answer. I will another time, you know, and they just keep like withholding the answer. But it was driving me crazy, this execution of her withholding the answer from him. It's like, this is a big deal. And he came across time to try to look out for you. The least you could do is explain why everything's topsy-turvy for him. But then in this moment right here, when he's talking to her, he has a piece of information she wants. She's like, what? Tell me everything. And I was like, oh, ho, ho.
The shoe's on the other foot now, isn't it?
Yeah. I just thought that was so funny.
I mean, this is the same year that just a few months later, you had Han Solo being like, where'd you get that lightsaber?
Yes.
And Maz is like, I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Actually,
a good story for another time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. That was the very like J.J. Abrams-y
right
mystery box.
I want the character. I want a scene in the movie where somebody says that and the character is like, no, now, now, tell me now. We're not going anywhere. You tell me. And then we get like a 15-minute, just not even a flashback scene, just a character talking to the other character.
Right.
For 15 minutes. Just lay it off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a single take shot, like the end of Pearl, you know, with Mia Goth.
Yeah.
So I was watching this. I was having this moment where I'm like, this is the Terminator from that first movie.
Yeah. I like how even in the animation they give it a little bit of like staccato movements.
I think this animation looks pretty good, I got to say.
Yeah,
they made the endoskeleton look pretty badass, I have to say.
Yeah, because in the 1984 version it is stop motion, so it looks a little, you know, sticky.
You know, the thought I have watching this though, right? Because as I'm talking, I'm like, yeah, this is the Terminator that kills Kyle, right? And I don't ever get the sense that he's that Kyle is in danger, you know?
Oh, in this film?
Yeah, in this scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with the action and execution.
Yeah, I mean, because like to me that, you know, that scene at the end of the Terminator of the first film when they're in the factory and, you know, it's just they're just trying to outrun the machine. You get a sense, man, this guy's he's gonna get them and they're gonna die, you know?
Absolutely. And then I mean, for me especially, I mean that as well, but especially when Sarah's going through that compactor. And it's just a puppet hand. Yeah, but it's just kind of like lurching forward and like touching the bottom of her sneakers, and you're like, you know, like it's real palpable.
See, and, I wonder. Like I saw that movie as a little kid, so I'm like, is it just because I saw it at that right age? And I'm like, but you were older.
Yeah, no, I'd be willing to bet. I bet that is the case in some instances with some films, but I really do feel like no, that's just great execution. That movie. Yeah. That stuff holds up because it's where you put the camera, it's the editing, it's the you know, what can I say? James Cameron's a master filmmaker.
Yeah, damn him.
He'll tell you that. He'll tell you that himself.
He'll tell every chance he gets. He'll be like, I don't even like doing this. I just do this so I can pay for my submersibles.
Right,
so
exactly.
I'm just making Avatar 5 so I can go to the Marianas Trench one more time.
Exactly. Probably.
But ask him what he thinks of Stockton Rush.
Yeah,
he'll let you know that too.
Yeah, I've heard it. This, you know what? This is always a delicious premise to me. The like, well, which one's which?
Yeah.
Like the twin, you know, because it's like I don't know, and there is something like, well, don't shoot the real person. Like maybe it's kind of corny at this point or something, but. Even here, I was like, I don't know which one. Can I tell? What would you do? And then also, if I was the real one, I'd be like, oh my gosh, she might shoot me.
Yep.
I couldn't remember what happened to the T-1000 in this one. Like I didn't remember if it was there for the rest of the movie or not. But
okay.
Basically, get rid of it here.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, he's not a particularly substantial element of the plot.
Yeah. But no, going back to the action and whether or not you feel like the characters are in danger. I mean, we'll get to it a little bit later, but the this stuff looks a little dodgy.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Just in terms of physics. I think if the physics...
That's right. That's what it comes down to.
It's moving like a cartoon character while surrounded by human beings that are not moving like cartoon characters.
Right.
But the big action sequence toward the end with the helicopters and, flying through between the buildings. And I'm trying to get better about not criticizing visual effects because you don't know what budget they had. You don't know what time constraints they had. So I'm trying to just accept the action in front of me. Like, okay, there's a helicopter between two buildings, right? With that said, it's rough when your movie is coming almost 2 decades after a film where the action was better.
Yeah. Right.
I think even though it's not one of the most visually spectacular shots, but I think one of the most incredible and palpable shots in Terminator 2 is when they're in the freeway and the helicopter smashes into the back of the truck. Like it goes underneath an overpass, which is nail biting still to this day. Cause you're like, oh my gosh, that guy could die. And then the helicopter, an actual helicopter is smushed into the back of a truck and explodes. And you're like, wow, like that looks really dangerous and amazing. And that's what it would look like if a helicopter smashed into the back of a moving truck. But then when you have all this sort of freewheeling, sort of computery feeling helicopter going between buildings that don't even I don't sense the danger. I don't see the wind whipping against the trees at street level. It's like, well, then I'm not feeling anything. I'm not feeling any sense of danger. I'm just going through the motions until we get back to the story, really.
Right.
And that's kind of a bummer. But I did sense that while I was watching this.
Yeah, and I think that with Terminator 2, obviously for as groundbreaking as it was in terms of visual effects at the time, it was still limited by what was achievable, right?
Totally. It's probably why he only the T-1000 can only turn into knives and stabbing weapons. The effects weren't there for anything else.
And it's better for that, right? Because your limitations are what make it more interesting from a story perspective, but also just from a visual perspective.
Yep.
Because your reach doesn't exceed your grasp. And I think that's that's the post Terminator 2 world where visual effects have gotten more and more elaborate, and there's more and more stuff you can do. But the stakes feel a little bit out of proportion.
Mm-hmm. I also thought it's kind of interesting. With Terminator 2 in 1991, it makes sense to have the T-1000 be sort of a silvery blob and just make sharp objects because that's what they were able to achieve. Right. And it works. And it makes sense within the story. And I never question it, but obviously those decisions probably had a lot to do with the technology at the time. Then later when we see that in this movie, oh my gosh, John Connor is a collection of nanites.
Yeah. Hey, your favorite trope.
I know. But this is that moment where some software developer figured out nanites as a visual effect, So you know what I mean? I just thought it was funny that the villains in each of these films and what they do and the way that they manifest feels indicative of where visual effects are, I don't know, what they're most excited about in their eras or something.
Right.
Yeah. Nanites were such a thing here.
See, it occurs to me as we're watching this that we're about 45 minutes in, and everything up to this point is just table setting to get to update the characters to the then present.
Sure.
Right. So I mean, it's a lot of legwork.
Yeah.
And so this goes to the thought that I had at the time, where I'm like, what new audience are you appealing to with this?
And
what longtime fans are you appealing to with this?
Yeah.
Right? Because my thought is like longtime fans are not going to be thrilled with any of this.
Yeah. You're changing the thing I love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And new viewers are going to be like, this is just a bunch of impenetrable hugger-mugger.
Mm-hmm.
So who's your audience?
That's a great point.
Right?
That's a great point. By the way, so Sarah wants to travel to 1997 through that time machine. She only gets one shot, and that's how she's going to take it down. Why would you go when there's like 1 minute left?
Yeah, go to like 1995.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, but it's so weird because the filmmakers said that they were incorporating 7 different timelines. And I saw that quote multiple times, and I'm like, well, I got 3.
Yeah.
Right? We got the 2029 and the 84 and 2017.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, where's the other ones?
I don't even. Yeah.
Right. And so apparently this is the filmmakers being like, we're taking kind of a multiverse approach. Hey, nanites and multiverse.
Yeah. Which was the style at the time.
Time is a flat circle. You know.
Yeah, they had an onion tied to their belt as they were saying that. Yeah.
And so there's multiple timelines that where some where Skynet has won, some where Skynet has lost, and I'm like, guys, the reason the first 2 films worked is that the time travel element was incidental, not the totality.
Yep.
Right. I think, and by the way, I have some questions about how it even works to travel forward in time, because I'm kind of like, from where they are in the past, there is no future.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, right, like, I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm like, I going into the past makes sense in the world of these movies because that's already a past that exists.
Right.
But once you're in the past, the future is not set, one might say.
Right.
Anyway, what made the first movie work, right? Kyle says it. He says it to the cops. He's like, no one else comes back. It's just him and me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The time travel is obviously it's an important, and you have a causal loop that's important, but it's not just, we're going to go from here to here and there to there. I'm like, man, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This has bugged me. It bugged me about Dark Fate. It even bugged me about the television show to some extent, where I'm like, to me, the idea that Skynet has a time machine. Well, the TV show did a better job of this, to be honest. And all it does is focus on, we got to get John Connor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no. If you have a time machine, then you can butterfly effect this shit, like going all the way back.
It's so funny because, they in this version, they went back and killed Sarah's parents.
Right.
And I was thinking, why don't you just take her family tree and just go back to the beginning, or just kill Adam and Eve?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, you got to tell a story. I guess, was it you or Sean who used to say, if you didn't think about the problem in the film till the parking lot,
that's
not
me.
a problem. Yeah, I think about that sometimes.
I think the television show did a better job of sort of finding some rationale for there to be a lot of time travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a little while since I've seen it, but that's my recollection.
Right.
And the idea that Skynet is seeding its own creation in the past, that stuff I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the show. I kind of resisted it for a while, and you were always recommending it. And, it definitely has its TV-ness occasionally, but really it has a lot of great ideas and some pretty good characterizations, some new good characters. The Terminator, I forget her name, Summer, is that right? Yeah. Or is that the actress's name?
No, that's the actor. It's Cameron.
Cameron, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
She was a great character, very interesting. So yeah, I would recommend that. And by the way, go ahead.
John and Sarah were both really good in that show.
Yeah, and I was looking stuff up about the Terminator series, and I had completely forgotten about the anime on Netflix called Terminator Zero, which was really good. And I would
you
highly
told me.
recommend to any Terminator fan. And so I was like, wait, when did that come out? It came out August 2024. It's not even a year old at this point.
Wow.
And it feels like 5 years old to me.
Yeah, really.
Isn't that crazy?
Jeez.
But anyway, I definitely recommend that. A lot of great ideas, but a story that feels unique enough unto itself, but still feels, like it belongs in the Terminator universe.
Mm-hmm.
Very good series. Let's get naked.
I know. PG-13 naked.
Yeah, right. I did want to call out that scene, though, earlier when they were in the lockers.
Yeah.
That was a nice... I was complaining that there weren't
where he's telling her about John.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just... that was what I wanted more of.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. More of the connections.
I wonder if Emilia Clarke, like, once she gets on set and they're like, okay, take your clothes off, she's like, oh, we're doing this again?
Yeah, right. Yeah, after being on Game of Thrones.
She was nude a lot on Game of Thrones, is my sense.
I think in the first season, and then I think she was able to work it out that she didn't have to be anymore.
Okay.
I think that was sort of a thing. Like HBO was definitely like, look what we can do on all their shows. And then as the shows became bigger hits, a lot of the actors were like, yeah, we're done with that now. Like now now that we can have some sort of say, like we're saying no.
Yeah.
I kind of remember that being a story.
So this, jumping the characters into the future, it reminds me of what they did in the TV show.
Yes.
Right. Where they jump ahead to the then present.
Mm-hmm. They end up on a freeway too, don't they?
Yes, they do. That's right.
2017, which would have been the future when this came out in theaters.
Back then it was the future,
yeah. I do kind of like this, like them just appearing in the middle of a freeway and just the science fiction-iness of it.
Yeah.
In a real world, location.
Yeah.
That's always kind of fun. Be pretty wild to encounter. Oh man, he gets hit hard.
I saw that yesterday. I was like, he should be dead.
Yeah.
Or crippled.
When he lands in that alley naked,
yeah,
like you see a real actor hit the pavement and kind of scooch.
Yep.
I was like, ow.
Yeah. Well, that's how they did it in the first movie too.
Yeah, but it looked really painful. it looked like someone really did it. See, I'd forgotten about all this too. Maybe because I was confusing the show, but them getting caught right away. And Is this with the Bad Boys music?
No, that's later.
Oh, that's later.
Yeah.
That was a choice.
What the hell? Yeah.
I don't know. That feels like someone who's partially funding the movie being like, hey, I got an idea. He's paying for like 12% of this movie.
He's an associate producer. Just give him
exactly.
Yeah, it is remarkable to think about how each new attempt at breathing life into this franchise has just led to greater diminished returns.
Yeah.
Because Terminator 3 did okay.
Yeah.
Domestically. I mean, like you said, this one actually did. When you factor in China and everything, it made more.
Mm-hmm.
But it had like no cultural footprint.
Yeah, which is a hard thing. Maybe I'm just, it's the thing that everyone understands, but I'm like the last to catch up to it because I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I guess culture at large just isn't interested in these stories, or they're like, yeah, Terminator 2, it's great. It's cool. Like my dad showed me that movie. Fun, but it's not like the enduring sort of gonna like Star Trek or something where they're just gonna keep making sequels.
Well, I mean, it's like, I was thinking about this, watching this yesterday, right? Like sci-fi franchises where there is room to keep telling stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like you've got less room within Terminator.
Yes.
Right? Like you say Predator, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
We just come up with a new milieu and we drop a Predator in, and that's the story.
Yep.
A Planet of the Apes, right? Well, it's a whole planet. There's all kinds of stories you can tell. within that construct. I think to me, the problem with Terminator is that the further you go, the less special you make the dyad of those first two movies.
Yes.
And I, I've said before, like that there really wasn't room in the premise for the sequel for T2.
Yeah.
But Cameron cracked it.
Yep.
And he found a way to squeeze it in, and then now we've got that ending. And I've said this before. See, okay, so by the way, that's Alan Taylor's daughter playing young.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up.
But that seems important to me.
I wouldn't have minded seeing more of that moment.
Right.
Her parents. Yeah.
All of that, right? Because to me, again, I'm just like, this is a fundamentally different character. And you can't just put that in there as a thing that is left unexplored and will presumably come into play in some sequel down the line.
Right.
Like you can't assume that you have that luxury. Why would you assume that? We'll explain that in the next one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the third Terminator movie in a row that was meant to start a trilogy.
Yeah, right. Right. J.K. Simmons, I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot he was in this.
So he's a special treat, that means.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not my rhythm.
Yeah, not my tempo.
Not my tempo.
But it's funny because speaking of tempos, this is a rhythm we're not used to seeing him do, the flustered.
Yeah, right.
Usually he's kind of, always in control. He's the imposing figure.
That's right. Yeah. Apparently a lot of this stuff he was just improvising, and it's very funny to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I like that. He saw something he can't explain 30 years ago, and he's driven by it. The people around him don't take him seriously. We get a little hint there that he might be a bit of an alcoholic because of it, but then it pays off for him. I like characters like that.
It's a little bit like, what the television show did with Dr. Silberman.
Yes. Right. Goes and lives up in a cabin away from everything.
Yeah.
But then gets to encounter the Terminators again and confirmed, it's confirmation for him.
Yeah.
So when they describe Genisys here, I mean, that's just our world, right?
It basically.
It's like, oh yeah, like connects all our devices so they are in sync with one another. And I was thinking the other day, it was driving me nuts. I was trying to talk to my parents in the car, and my phone, the Bluetooth was connected with the car, and their call kept hopping between my AirPods and the car. And I was like, damn this future. But that's basically what they're describing here with Genisys, like this miracle. See, I had a hard time putting myself back into 2015 and thinking about where we were at and how futuristic Genisys may seem.
I think here's the problem, right? When I hear the word Genisys, I think of another Genisys, which is the Genisys device from Star Trek.
I thought you were going to be like, oh, Phil Collins?
Certainly that. That's always at top of mind.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Genisys device, if you remember in Star Trek 2, we get the scene that where Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are watching the simulation.
Mm-hmm.
They see what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, what'll happen if this is used where life already exists? Oh, it'll destroy life. And so we have a clear sense, okay, this is what is at stake.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Genisys, we're just like, oh, it's an OS that everybody's got.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a little vague.
It's too vague. And granted, we probably all are carrying Skynet around in our pockets right now.
I mean, yeah, it's the technology is there now.
The problem really is that we're at a point now where the technology, like, it's part of the shit you gotta scroll down and check. It's like you agree that this technology will own, control of your life and and we're like, yeah, it's fine. Let me just edit my pictures or whatever,
yeah, right.
Like, we're already on board. So this is the threat doesn't even carry anymore because we're so far up Skynet's asshole already.
We are. And I mean, I know this is an old conversation, but it happened to me the other day. My brother was here and I mentioned something about like, shovels. Oh, I need a shovel or something, I mean, I didn't Google it. I didn't go on Amazon. I didn't search it. I just said something about like a shovel or something. And then I was getting a drink in the kitchen and my brother said, oh, I just got an ad for shovels. So like it's listening. we know it. And we're just, here we are just,
right,
living our lives and not doing anything about it.
So, I mean, that when you think about it, I mean, that was an innovation that kind of came in with Terminator 3. The idea that Skynet has no system core, that it's software in cyberspace already.
Yeah. And it makes sense in our world that
it absolutely does.
The only problem is we're not afraid of it.
We're not afraid.
like we should be.
Like we should be.
'Cause then the other day, like I was just saying, shovel. I need some lye. I also need lye. And I didn't Google it. I'm just kidding. I was trying to make it sound like I was trying to bury a body. And my phone was like, here's where you can get some lye. I won't tell anyone. Said Siri.
Well, I read an article literally just this morning about AI psychosis.
Okay.
Which is a result of people just forming absurd levels of attachment with AI chatbots.
Okay.
And that's just where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, obviously Cameron was ahead of the curve in some regard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the way that the last one did this too, where Skynet's personified, right? Wasn't it Helena Bonham Carter?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's what death tastes like. Remember that?
Yes. Oh, that was so
bone
weird.
mow.
Yeah. Yeah, so odd.
So actually, we should talk about the fact that the trailers for this movie spoiled John Connor's heel turn.
Yes.
Which, now, let me just say, I don't like what this movie did with John Connor. I think it was a bad idea executed badly.
Yeah, agreed.
In my opinion. However, why on earth would you not keep that in your back pocket?
It is an odd choice because you can imagine they thought it was a selling point,
right.
Twist. But it's like, what? No, the guy that I like, the guy that I've been wanting to see saved.
Yeah.
And the hero, you think I'm going to be excited to see the hero is now a villain? I don't want that.
It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, that was
not my John Connor.
Exactly. By the way, I heard someone, I wish I could remember where this was on another podcast, but they had this interesting observation. It made me think in this scene where we see one of the police officers is played by Michael Gladys, who was on Mad Men.
Okay.
And they were saying it's interesting watching slightly older movies because you can see what TV shows were in the zeitgeist at the moment because people from those shows, right? Yes, they're like cast as like sort of minor characters in all the big movies. So watching this, you're like, oh, this must have been like Mad Men was really hitting,
That's really funny.
Yeah.
See, my thought is insofar as having John possessed by Skynet, why don't you make him an unworthy, or excuse me, an unwilling, vehicle?
Yeah,
like he's fighting it. Right. Like that seems like a no-brainer to me. Like all of this up to like he does betray them or whatever, but it's one of these things where he's fighting it, and you visualize it in a way where the Skynet is forcing him to do something he doesn't want to do it.
You know what I mean? His humanity would push through.
Yeah,
like that's what we'd be rooting for. Yeah,
right. Now, what Jason Clarke has said is that had they proceeded with the sequel, which we should say this was planned as a trilogy.
Yeah,
and Paramount in an act of real hubristic glee, they scheduled the part 2 for 2017 and part 3 for 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, man, you guys were ready to go.
Yeah.
None of that bore out. But Jason Clarke said that part 2 would have begun with Connor sort of reconstituting, all the little nanites and stuff, and having to grapple with who he is or what he is.
Okay.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Maybe he's like Agent Smith in the Matrix sequels, where he's detached from the Matrix, but he exists, and there's something existential there. That's possibly,
Yeah.
But again,
yeah.
Why would you assume that a sequel is a given?
Exactly. By the way, this is a cool stunt that kind of reminds me of the violence from the original movies, where he kicks the chair. Yeah. Where you're just like, ow, damn, that would hurt. like that kind of stuff. Like when he rips the security guy out of the car and throws him into that concrete pillar.
Yep.
You're just like, just ow. Like that.
Well, to me, I always think of that woman who hits him.
Yes.
And then his glasses, and then he just shoves her face first.
Yeah, down the hall, and she just kind of slides. Because you're like, it's not like killing anyone, but damn, dude. I don't know. Something about that jumped out at me. Like, now that feels like the Terminator violence to me.
See, and there's this here where he's like, "Oh, come on, Dad." It's like you've never called him that.
Yeah. Oops.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being like so angry the first time I saw this. It's just not what I want. I don't know. Let's do it. It's like your Mission Impossible. You bring that up all the time.
They pulled a Phelps. I was about to say.
Yes. Yeah. Now I get it. I see, Zachy. I see.
Yeah. Again, it's like if you give him, you're like, we don't know what to do with the character because we want to do Sarah's story. Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
The fact is, we spent both 4 previous films invested in John Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to see this, but you could do something where you have him go through the motions that the story requires, but you give him agency, and maybe you give him some kind of redemptive moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Right? Like, the end of this film is essentially Pops sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
And you have John Connor tell him, look, you have to kill me, or, whatever.
And I think, yes, I agree. My final answer is yes. But also, I think for me personally, I know these movies are filled with fantastical ideas and robots and time travel and stuff, but frankly, and I know I'm not the biggest nanite fan, but like the idea that his body has literally, like a human body, has literally been on a cellular level taken over by these little robot dust. Yeah, I just can't. It's too much. It's too much. I
agree with you.
So does he poop? Like, does he eat? Like, is he like, what is he? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any. This is. I don't have to wait for the parking lot to get tripped up by this.
Right.
And it just loses me. This loses me.
No, I agree. And I think, again, this goes to what I was saying before. Your audience, your baked in audience, do you think they're going to be thrilled with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And especially,
yeah. The newbies aren't going to care one way or the other. So, I mean, again, it goes to the whole Jim Phelps thing that I've mentioned before.
Yeah. And to your point, I think it's hubris to think that we'd be even patient enough to wait for another movie to even hint that he could possibly be redeemed. At least show a little bit of a struggle or something. But then again, that goes against what this plot is. I mean, he's been installed here to make sure that Genisys goes online, and I don't know.
See, I think there's a way to do that, and it wouldn't have taken much effort to make him an unwilling drone.
Well, it makes me think of when the T-1000 glitches in T2. It's very subtle. They don't talk about it. It just kind of happens, and we understand, he's fighting something, or he's breaking down a little bit.
Right.
Something's happening. We get it. So yeah, if we saw a little bit of like resistance or struggle or pushback from John, it doesn't even have to be big. Maybe that would have been nice to see.
Yeah, I think between this movie and the next one, you what you come away with is this sense of like, we don't know what to do with John as a character.
Yeah.
And I'm equally baffled by how both films treated the character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, there's a way to do this. It's,
Right.
you know?
Well, and remember Salvation, one of the takes they were going to do was John dies and then they take his skin and put it on a Terminator, and then that Terminator with John's face kills everybody.
Good point. So
I was like,
really,
what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah. So 3 movies where they don't know what to do with John Connor.
Yeah.
Well, and it's odd, right? Because I'm sure the argument would be, well, he's he's JC, he's the savior,
Sure.
he's the Messiah, and that's important as a concept, but it's hard to develop as a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I guess, but I think it's interesting. I think a character who's saddled with the responsibility of trying to save humanity is very interesting,
Mhm.
I don't believe that that's a narrative dead end,
No. That person, who's supposed to be a savior, like their struggle. What is their struggle?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure that's what drew Christian Bale to the role. Was the opportunity to potentially play that.
Yeah. But it's just, if you push it too far, like again, him, now he's like this like granular robo person thing.
He's
like, it's too much for my brain to like take seriously. And even this whole skin grafting thing, Connor's face onto a robot would be too, how he would look like Edgar from Men in Black,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, that's not the kind of leaps that the first 2 movies asked me to make. So I would have a hard time doing them. And
that's goofy too.
Yeah, goofy.
Yeah.
It's too goofy. I don't know.
I just did you see Final Destination, the new one?
Yes.
I just happened to see a clip of the MRI scene.
Yes, I thought of that while I was watching this.
And holy goddamn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was on YouTube. It says MRI death scene, Final Destination. I'm like, let's hit play on that. And then I spent the next 36 hours deeply regretting that decision.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Good Lord, I'm never going to go near an MRI,
dude. And I'm laughing about that film. I'm not making light now. But did you hear about that, where that happened in real life after Final Destination came out?
Oh, yeah, just recently, right?
Yes. Someone got too close to the machine and they had a big metal chain around their neck. They were trying to help. I think someone related to them was in the machine. I don't know why they did this, but they stepped into the room like, well, here, I'll help. And then it sucked them into the machine.
It sucked them in?
Well, I don't know. I was, even as I was saying that, I was like, I don't remember. I shouldn't say because I don't know exactly. But it pulled him toward the machine and killed him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's freaking scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. That's a cool image.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
In Final Destination, dude has a thing in his dick.
Yes.
He's like pierced up the wazoo, right?
Yes. And so it pulls it. Death turns up the magneticism or whatever, right? Like on the machine. And so it pulls him in and basically folds him in half and pulls him into the machine. Yeah. Now that I'm willing to buy. Oh, you know what's funny, by the way? I saw as a random trivia thing. Jason Clarke was on an Australian medical soap opera called All Saints.
Okay.
Playing a character named Eddie Furlong.
Really?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
You're playing John Connor.
That feels made up.
I thought the same thing, and I went on IMDb and I looked it up, and I'll be damned. There it is.
That is so random.
I mean, that's not a very common name, I think.
Yeah.
So I wonder if on that show, even, they were just like, I don't know, that kid who played Terminator, you know?
Yeah. That's like,
or,
in World War Z, Peter Capaldi, who he would go on to play the lead on Doctor Who after Matt Smith, by the way. So several years before that, he was in World War Z, and the role he played was WHO Doctor.
Wow.
Isn't that random?
Yeah. So World Health Organization, I'm assuming?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That's incredible. I love stuff like that. So maybe this is me being a little nitpicky, but going back to the parking lot when John Connor.
Real quick, brother.
Yeah. No.
This right here. This is the Oracle facility.
Yes.
Here in the Bay Area, which makes sense because David Ellison, of course, his dad is Larry Ellison. So
yeah,
probably got to shoot there for free.
Hey, Dad.
Now, Courtney B. Vance is Miles Dyson.
Yes.
And it's weird that you get such a big actor for like such a nothing role in this movie.
Agreed. I remembered that Danny was a character, but I was like, wait, is that supposed to be Miles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
I wasn't even sure.
Oh, no, sorry, you were saying, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't even remember.
Oh, shoot.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Parking lot, I think you're saying? Parking garage?
Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny is I know that most people listening remember what it was and I sound like an idiot. I do remember. So the moment, this is a huge moment with John Connor, or Kyle Reese finding out that John Connor is his dad.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, how does your brain even process that?
Right, but I'm watching that scene and that kind of goes to what I was saying when it feels sort of like a journeyman effort. There's like no close-ups, no push-ins, no like musical swells. Like this is a enormous moment for this character. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like medium shot, medium shot, medium shot. And I feel like, I don't know. I was thinking about this last night. Maybe there is more on the page here, or if you could juice it a little bit. Visually, I might feel a little bit more than I did, but the movie kind of doesn't get there, you know?
Well, I think the problem is that at that point in the film, in the franchise, the character, you're just trying to get the characters caught up to the audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's inherently not going to be as dramatic because we're already ahead of them.
That's true.
You know,
that's true. I mean, I would fight if I was a producer on this movie. I'd be like, get one close up where we can see his eyes just darting a little bit, processing.
Yeah.
I really feel like it would have gone a long way.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're like Apple or something and you're unleashing this software to the world, why would you ever make a faceless, creepy kid your mascot? Hello, world. I can't wait to meet you.
I remember, this is apropos of nothing. I remember way back in the day, a friend of mine I wish I could remember who said it, but I just found it very funny. He's like, what I find the scariest thing in the world to me is the idea of opening my curtains in the middle of the night and I look out and I see a little kid on a tricycle riding around and laughing. And I'm like, that's so specific.
That's the funniest thing they can imagine.
Scary.
Or scary. Sorry. Yeah. I say funny because I'm laughing. Wait, what is it for you? Do you have one?
Well, now I think it's that.
I've always said for me, it's waking up and seeing a pilgrim at the foot of my bed.
Oh my God.
That's like the scariest thing I can imagine.
I don't know. After the last day or so, I think it might be an MRI, the mere notion of an MRI.
Right. Yeah. You know what's funny? I've told people that for years. And Sean, our friend, his kids one year gave me a birthday card and they drew pilgrims in it because they knew I was afraid of them. Isn't that funny?
A pilgrim sitting at no, I get that. That's a little scary.
You know what it was? When I was, my brother and I were young, we were at my grandparents' place and we were in these like twin beds in this room. And it was like, there's like oil lamps and kind of old person stuff in the room. And I think we were saying, what's the scariest thing you can imagine happening right now? And I was like, I think it's a pilgrim woman opening the door, holding like a oil lamp and just looking at me and like going, shh.
How about a pilgrim riding around on a tricycle laughing?
It's even worse. Yeah.
Pretty damn scary.
Yeah, I'd be like that guy in Mulholland Drive who doesn't want to go to see what's behind the dumpster. And then he basically dies of fright when he sees that person back there. That'd be me seeing the pilgrim on the tricycle.
How about a pilgrim on a tricycle telling you to go to the MRI room?
That's yours. That's
That's me.
How did Zachy and Brian simultaneously die at once of fright?
Well, that movie clip convinced me one thing: do not pierce your dick.
Yeah, that was what put you over the edge for that. Because
I was teetering, but
yeah,
it convinced me. I got to be honest. This scene here, I kind of like this.
Me too.
this little bonding between
This
the
is
Terminator.
the stuff. I want more of this.
Right. And I like where he's like, the Terminator's like old, and then Kyle's like, but not obsolete. I don't know.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
that.
And I mean, that's the enemy. His
Right.
entire life, he only knows that that's the enemy. These cyborgs, you know, and so that's I like that. They're bonding.
See, I think that it's a testament to how much of an impact Arnold made as the good guy Terminator in T2, where any notion of him not playing the Terminator as a good guy is not even an option.
And he resisted that, right? Schwarzenegger.
He did.
Cameron pitched it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, in T2, you have that great scene where Sarah is watching John and the Terminator goofing around, and how Sarah's voiceover, she's like, he would never leave him, and he would, all that. I love that, right?
Too.
And then we get like a version of that in this about like the Terminator to her.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but I see what you're doing,
Yeah.
You're trying to use my affinity for that to,
right. But again, is it a bad idea? Not necessarily. Maybe if the execution had been better.
Well, because again, it rests on a foundation that it's like sand. You've had to construct this relationship between the Terminator and Sarah. Where she calls him pops and stuff, and that's cute, whatever. But like,
we haven't seen
it,
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like, yes. And that would be interesting. And not like you have to do some sort of 8-minute montage, but
no, 8-minute scene of just Arnold.
That's right.
Facing camera.
Yes.
And then when she was 10 years old, I took her to the circus, and it's just like,
took her to the circus.
Yeah.
And he like takes the balloon from a vendor, and the guy's like, hey, and then he just shoots him this like death stare, and the guy's like, take it.
But again, we don't see it. He describes it. It's just
yes.
My Sarah wanted balloons, so I gave, and it's just 10 minutes of that.
And he wasn't none too pleased, but I knew Sarah would appreciate it. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it's the whole facade here is erected on, at some point in some future, somebody sent a Terminator back to kill Sarah's parents, and somebody sent a Terminator back to protect her. That's a whole movie.
Yeah.
That's not the flashback that you allude. Like, it's very baffling to me.
In all seriousness, no, I would have liked to have seen some sort. As she's telling the story,
sure,
little glimpses of her being scared of it. And then a little glimpse of it actually doing something helpful for her. And then a little glimpse of like almost the equivalent of like this scary, huge machine death thing, holding hands with this girl as they walk down a street together. Like that's where they got. Like that's her dad.
I agree with that. But I think the movie doesn't want to reckon with that, because I'm like, what is it like for a Terminator to raise a girl? What does that even mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because I have an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah. And
I'm a human, and it's a freaking, it's challenging.
Sure.
Right? So I mean this is not a normal thing, and the movie is just like, oh, and she was raised by a Terminator. It's like, oh, Tarzan was raised by apes. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, if you actually think about that,
right.
There's a lot involved there,
Yeah. By the way, I thought this was interesting trivia. We hear the Ramones, I Want to Be Sedated, which kind of bumped me a little bit. I don't know. It just felt a little out of place. But it ends up that is what is written into the T2 script when John and his friend are in the garage working on the bike. Cameron wrote that they're listening to the Ramones, I Want to Be Sedated. But they changed it to Guns N' Roses.
Oh, how funny.
So this is a little nod to that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I should read that sometime. I'm curious to read the script.
The T2 script?
Yeah. Anyway, what were you saying?
That tells me that, the folks who put this thing together did their best to live up to the legacy.
Oh, sure.
Right. I just think that I think that to some extent they were at cross purposes with what the goal of the movie was, you know?
Well, one of the writers, I'm going to try to say her name correctly, Laeta Kalogridis.
Kalogridis, I think.
Kalogridis, yeah. She's worked with Cameron on Avatar.
On Avatar. Yeah, he kind of nudged her into doing this. So.
Yeah, so that's...
I'm sure she sent him a nice fruit basket.
But I kind of dig that. Like, I mean, for as much as Cameron likes to tout, you know, and say everything that he accomplished and whatever, he does seem to have people he trusts.
Right.
And what would it be like to be in that circle of trust?
Right.
You know?
I have pressure.
Yeah. I couldn't help but think, you know, if John Connor can now, like a T-1000, morph into anything.
Yeah.
This motorcycle jacket he puts on.
That was his choice.
Yeah, no, I couldn't help but think about it. Like, oh, so he kind of like manifested that jacket.
You went with that, huh?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. Just interesting. Did he see it in a store once? Like, you know, like.
See, what I keep coming back to is the decision to make John, you know, the what is it, the T-5000? Is that what he is?
I think he might be the 3000 and Matt Smith is the 5000.
Is that what it is?
Which is a multiverse jumping entity, which would have been explained in the sequels.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Well, good. well, good then.
Yes.
I just think like what they were struggling with, no doubt, was that, you know, the same thing you've mentioned, like the T-1000 is such an intimidating heavy. You can never match that. You can never match what Robert Patrick did. They tried with you know, the TX.
Yes.
In Terminator 3. So it's like, okay, so we got two problems. We have trouble coming up with the heavy. We have trouble coming up with what to do with John Connor. Hey, let's merge them together.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, and I, again, it's one of those things where I don't want to sound like I'm hung up on this idea of like, oh, why would you ruin the John Connor character? But I do think it gets to something where it's like you to some extent you have to anticipate how the audience is going to feel, and if it's going to be a rug pull, the rug pull has to be justified in some way, right? And you know, I said the same thing about you know, in Terminator Dark Fate, where, you know, oh look, it's Eddie Furlong, you know.
yeah.
And I remember at the time when as I was watching it, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what you do. And then I didn't feel like they did anything to really warrant that, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, this gets to kind of the, you know, we joke about, you know, hashtag not my Luke. The one thing I'll say is, you know, I don't think the people who are like, I wanted to see Luke Skywalker do Luke Skywalker stuff are out of bounds.
Right.
Because I do get it. I understand that. You know, I personally, I didn't mind what The Last Jedi did with Luke Skywalker, but you know, look, that reaction should have been at least factored in.
Sure.
Right? And I think our sense of John Connor is, well, he's kind of an important good guy, and what are you gaining by completely shifting that paradigm?
Yeah.
Now, this whole sequence here, a lot of it looks digital, but my understanding is a lot of it was achieved practically.
Yeah, they shot in New Orleans. And a big part of that was they had the ability to shut all this stuff down for the days that they needed.
Well, they recreated a portion of the bridge, something like 500 feet or something like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think some of it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think the problem for me is, like, we've had, I don't know, like, what is this, like the third big action sequence, right? But I have lost count.
Yeah,
but it all feels pretty unmotivated, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're going from set piece to set piece, and there isn't a lot of emotional tissue that's threading through it all.
Yeah. Yeah, what I thought you were going to say too is if I had to take a quiz on the action set pieces this morning after having watched it last night, I would struggle a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, oh, by the way, I do want to call this out. How the T-800 got the like magnetic coils out of that speaker because he knew he could wrap them like use them like brass knuckles,
right,
and punch Connor and disrupt him a little bit. I was like, oh, that's clever. I like that.
It's clever. I agree.
So then it becomes a thing that you need to hang on to, and you can lose track of and have to get back because without them, you have no chance.
So now this sequence, where like that right there, you're telling me that's not a blue screen?
Oh, it had to be.
Right. Like, so that's why I'm like, well, what part of this did they achieve practically? Which,
maybe it was some of the cars flipping.
Okay.
Is my guess.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So we've gone from them being in custody to escaping to going back into custody. I'm like, I feel like we could have cut one of those things out.
You can imagine the board with all the note cards for every scene. They're like, oh, yo, Jeff, you made 2 of these cards on accident. Back in police custody.
What's happening here, Brian?
Well, this feels like an SNL sketch.
It does.
So now our heroes are back in custody, and
we get the cops theme.
Cops, the bad boys, and we're watching a comedic montage of them getting their mugshots taken.
Yeah,
and we get to see Arnold smiling awkwardly for comedic effect, which was something Cameron decided was wrong to do in Terminator 2, so he cut it from the film. But these people said, "Hey,
let's lean into that."
Yeah.
See, I want
to say about this too. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
In the 1984 Terminator, we have a scene where Kyle is being interrogated by the police.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's a great sequence because you just see his escalating frustration, and as he's trying to explain to these people the situation. Mm-hmm. And his frustration culminates in him, looking into the camera and saying he'll find her, and it's so great because you really feel viscerally how real it all is,
right?
And I think this idea of Kyle just sort of being like, I don't know, so cool as a cucumber. I mean, it goes to what I said before. I'm like, I just don't believe that this is the same character.
I know. Yeah. I was laughing about this because Kyle says something about like my Irish mother.
Yeah.
And then we see behind the glass Kyle's family, and you see this woman with like fire truck red hair. And she's like, but my son is only 12, like with this like
Fit and Begora.
Yeah, exactly. With this, I was like, gee, could that be his Irish mom?
Begora, 'tis true.
It just craves so on the nose, it cracked me up.
That's hilarious. See, again, remember the scene in T1 when the Terminator is in the police station?
Oh, it chills to the bone to this day.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's the problem is you can be like, oh, well, don't compare it. It's like, you have to.
Yes, it came first.
You can't not.
It's related to this film.
Yeah, exactly.
This film needs to, at the very minimum, match it. Yeah.
There's that great sequence where Sarah is like hiding under the desk,
Yeah.
And you're getting it solely from her point of view, and somebody opens the door. She thinks it's the Terminator, and it's Kyle. Man, I love that movie, Brian.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I don't know, whatever. This I like this, where she's giving him this go in a straight line, kind of thing. Because of course we need to set that up. But I was like, no, he needs to coil down the staircase. It makes no sense in the setting they're in.
I think it would be funny if she's like, you got that? And she leaves, and you just see him run straight face first into the wall and just not pass out.
Just fall over. And she's like, our boy was always a little dim.
'Tis true.
I'm sorry for people who are fans of this movie listening to this.
It's like, go straight and don't look back. Got it. Boom. But Sarah doesn't see any of this. She's already gone.
Right. Oh, that would be hilarious.
Ugh.
I remember even the first time we saw this, not hating her calling him Pops.
No, I think
that's
it's
an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I just wish I'd felt it more.
Yeah, but what I think it honestly does is it sort of gets to our collective affinity for Arnold as this character.
Yeah, because maybe we see him that way a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this is notably this is the only time he plays the Terminator where he doesn't die at the end.
Oh, interesting. Gosh, dude, Dark Fate. I don't remember that movie.
Yeah. He definitely dies in that one.
Yeah. See, I remember he was a carpet salesman.
Yeah, Carl.
Isn't that funny? I'm not making that up. Not a bit.
And he's great in that movie, by the way.
He is, because he loves this character. He always brings it.
That's kind of the thing, right? Is James Cameron is trying to crack another Terminator story.
Mm-hmm.
He's hard at work, and what he said is that the issue he's having is like the real world keeps catching up with whatever they're coming up with.
Sure.
Which kind of what you and I were alluding to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do I want to see a Terminator movie without Arnold in it?
Yeah, I know. I know.
And at this point, do I want to see a Terminator movie with Arnold in it? Like it's.
I know. Frankly, I mean, this is a hard line in the sand for me. If Cameron's not directing it, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Truly, I don't care. Like, he can have the idea. That's fine. Like Alita Battle Angel.
Sure.
Was his idea.
Yeah.
It was fine-ish. It was okay.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was all right. I don't remember a thing about it now. But if he had made it, I know I would have at least felt something I remembered.
Yeah.
Because that's just what he's able to do. And, so yeah, he might have an idea, but outside of his hands, I'm not interested. I'm just going to be let down. That's my feeling.
It sure feels like it.
By the way, so I was watching this thing last night, the helicopter thing I was complaining about earlier.
Yeah.
Because this should be scary. There's a helicopter going down street level in between these tall skyscrapers. That should feel thrilling.
Yeah.
We should see people going, holy crap, on the sidewalk and ducking. But this I feel nothing. Nothing. It's just.
Well, it's just CGI Wonderland.
Yeah. But that's what's so great about Terminator is like these real visceral, spectacular things. And so anyway, but okay. So when there's the helicopter tumbles over the side of the building and it kind of falls down, there's a shot where you're looking up at the building. And for some reason, it reminded me of The Matrix.
Okay.
When Neo and the helicopter and the side of the building.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I was like, well, look, nothing's sacred anymore. Hollywood has no integrity. Like they don't care. They're just going to do anything and they'll keep making the sequels, the whatever, the crossovers, the IP business. Just do it. Just make a Terminator meets Predator meets RoboCop meets Neo from the Matrix movie, man. Just do it. Just do it. I don't care if it's crass. You're beyond crass at this point.
Well, I mean, they've done RoboCop versus Terminator as a comic and a couple other things.
And it was really good.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just do it. There's no shame anymore. I mean, I don't want another one of these. So just bring RoboCop in.
I actually really liked how in that RoboCop versus Terminator comic, how they found a way to thread both of these things together.
It's really thoughtfully done and really well executed. Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Our friend Doug, listener to the podcast, he sent them to me because I think I mentioned that I'd never read them and he sent them to me in the mail and I meant a lot to me and I read them and loved them.
What a nice gesture.
Yeah. Very nice.
See, I think for me, when I think of those first two films, right, there's always these scenes that come to mind, like here, I'm thinking of when John, Sarah, say again?
Sorry.
I'm thinking about when they break into to Cyberdyne.
Yeah.
And that whole sequence and everything that entails, for me, when the Terminator goes to the window and it opens fire on the cops,
mm-hmm.
and you hear that great music,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still like it gets me emotional,
Same.
And that's the frustrating thing is like, there's this Hollywood idea that, well, if we just take some of the familiar pieces, people will have the same exact reaction. It's like, no, that was the result of somebody with the creative idea.
Yes. And it was made by an artist.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't just, have those ideas and point a camera and think we're going to feel the same way.
Right.
There needs to be some artistry.
I mean, it is odd because James Cameron, like we talked about before, I mean, in the lead up to this movie's release, they put out a promo video of him being like, man, this is, as far as I'm concerned, the franchise has been reinvented.
I know.
This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is the real Terminator 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you are full of so much shit.
Yeah. You get one. You get one. And then
he said that about T3 already.
I know, but it's like, well, now we'll never believe you because.
Yeah. I remember about T3 the weekend after it came out. He's like, "Oh my god, I loved it. I thought Jonathan Mostow did such a great job." I was like, "Okay, right on." Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I remember when we talked about we did our commentary on that one. Schwarzenegger was mulling whether or not to do 3.
Yeah.
And Cameron was like, "Ask for the most money you've ever asked for ever."
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
so going back to the loyalty thing, it is kind of cool that Cameron was just like, for his friend, "Oh, it's wonderful. I love it. Complete endorsement." Sure.
Yeah.
You almost wonder if he had it marked on his calendar, like, and at this date, I will tell them that wasn't true. Just to save a little face.
A little bit. I wonder how much Cameron just sort of mentally just divorced himself from anything not involving him.
Yeah.
Or, where it's like, look, I can be gnashing teeth and rending garments over this, or I can just sort of be in my Zen place and find things to like in all of them.
I would really admire that, actually.
Yeah.
He's a better man than I.
Well, because you look at like Stephen King, for example, and like he always hated, what Stanley Kubrick did with The Shining.
Yeah.
And, he wanted to go back and do it. Like in others, he couldn't let go. Understandably, I'm not criticizing that because it's his baby, obviously. But, that's got to be hard to watch somebody essentially raise your child, right?
Definitely.
And so, maybe Cameron's just like, well, as long as my friend gets looked after, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, he's got the rights back now anyway, so.
Yeah, that was part of with the complicated sales. Right. I mean, part of the complication was after a certain year, the rights did go back to Cameron.
That's right.
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The essentially, I mean, the Terminator franchise just kills production companies, basically.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Because it just goes from one to the next. The Halcyon company, which purchased it from C2, which was the Andrew Vanya and Mario Kassar, their company. They did T3, and then they went under, and then they sold it to Halcyon. They did Terminator Salvation. Then they went under. They valued the franchise at like $70 million.
Yeah,
but it ended up getting sold for less than $30 million.
Wow.
Which kind of makes sense to me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's, again, I'm still having a hard time catching up with that, but that's my age and affinity showing. I mean, like my love of the brand.
Well, to me, it's like you look at like RoboCop, right? How much RoboCop stuff is out there,
right?
And other than the first movie, how much of it is good? Right?
Yeah. And you could make a new RoboCop movie now,
sure,
and hope it's a hit, but I would never expect it to be like $1 billion.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. I want to call out, by the way, Brad Fiedel.
Yes,
the composer of the first 2 films. I was actually independent of rewatching this movie. I was thinking about it. For some reason, part of the score was just kind of running through my mind. And I was like, what a weird score. Like
the Terminator score.
The Terminator score, particularly Terminator 2, where it doesn't feel dated because it feels out of time.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's just a weird sounding score that completely fits that film.
Right.
And it's got a synthy element, but not entirely. It's just
Right.
this weird thing that I've never heard before or since that completely feels like part of the voice of that film. And I was just like, what an amazing thing. That doesn't happen often.
It's also not a score you can really listen to on its own.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it's not very melodic.
No, it's very much tied in with the visuals in a way that, like a John Williams score or something wouldn't be.
Yeah. But it's really, really good. And I kind of missed it. That's the thing. I think we've talked about this, but the T-1000 theme, that kind of like that comes from a keyboard, and it's programmed orchestral sound. So it's these horns. It's horns literally going bow, and he slows them down. So they're like, brr. And so every sequel, when I hear an orchestra trying to imitate it,
it's interesting.
I'm always like, ugh. No, like it's wrong, because it's supposed to make me feel like I don't know what that is.
Right.
But I'm hearing horns. It's kind of like when you watch the Oscars and this like jazzy orchestra is recreating like scores from different movies. And you're like, oh, that's not quite it. Like it's a little too bouncy, or something.
That's really funny.
A little too razzle dazzled in the version I know. That's what it reminds me of, the equivalent.
That said, because Lorne Balfe did the score for this.
Yeah.
With Hans Zimmer having some kind of supervisory
or
role.
something, yeah.
And it's not a terrible score.
No.
It's not particularly memorable to me.
Yeah.
But like he's gotten more visible, Lorne Balfe, in the decade since, and I think his quality has improved.
I agree. I feel like I just saw him. Balfe, what did he just do? I just watched something he did.
Well, he did Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Which has a very good score. I like that. He also did he do the most recent Mission Impossible? Is that him?
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, he did the Naked Gun. That's what
Naked Gun. That's right. That's exactly. Yeah.
I remember in the theater, I bet if we went back and listened to the review, I remember hating how Skynet was talking to them and they kept shooting the projections, or like the projectors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right.
Something about, I'm like, save your bullets, dude. Because he keeps reappearing everywhere. I'm like,
right.
They're just funny. Like I had a 10-year-old flashback memory.
That's just from the trailers.
No, just from my experience of watching. Like he keeps shooting these projectors. I'm like, he's not going anywhere. Like, stop doing that.
But that's like a trope, in these types of movies.
I know. Can't I just complain for 2 hours?
Jai Courtney and Matt Smith, two men trapped in this movie, hoping for better days.
Yeah.
See, Jai Courtney, I enjoyed him in Suicide Squad.
I remember that too.
Yeah,
it was a well-suited role for him.
It was, and that movie did not do many people favors.
Yeah,
but he benefited from that,
Yeah.
And so that's when that was when it kind of clicked for me. I was like, I think maybe Hollywood's been misusing this guy.
Yeah. Some people are just suited for certain types of roles and they excel at them.
Yeah.
And they're not, you can't just slot them into anything.
So the John Connor Terminator, this sequence really gets to the essential problem with him, is that he doesn't appear to have any limitations.
Yeah.
In terms of like being a physical threat, right? Now, granted, I mean, obviously they're about to,
destroy
him.
Yeah.
But I think these folks are like, they keep out thinking themselves in terms of like trying to come up with a Terminator that's going to be even more deadly than the last one. Because I'm kind of like, well, you kind of maxed out with the T-1000.
I agree.
And anything after that is just like magic, like.
Yeah.
Because the TX, they're like, it's metal, it's solid metal and liquid metal. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, that feels like a step backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Because then we couldn't walk through the jail bars, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then we got this, whatever this is. And then remember the next one, it's like, oh, there's like the endoskeleton, and then the nanites form another guy. And you're like, what? I don't even know what.
I know.
Right?
I mean, there's something to be said about the simplicity, and just come up with new cool scenarios for that thing to be involved in,
See, here's the problem. The Terminator as originally created, is an infiltration unit. And so by extension, I mean, it has to have certain limitations because the point it's meant to be espionage, because there's no reason for Skynet to have a whole bunch of human looking robots, right? Skynet is thinking about a post-human world,
right?
Right.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, but I understand. I mean, it happens with even like Star Wars film. It's like, well, we can't use the same ships. We gotta. Usually, that's probably a toy making decision. But
Right.
like, I remember seeing the AT-AT walkers or whatever they're called in Last Jedi, and I was like, like just they were fine the way they were.
The gorilla walkers.
Yeah, but of course, much time has passed. Cars, you get a Mazda, and a Mazda looks different 10 years later. But like. Anyway, I agree with you. I just feel like it gets overthought. Maybe there's enhancements you can give it, but they think so much that it becomes less cool somehow.
Right. See, okay, so this moment here where she's so emotional about Pops, I don't know, how does that land for you?
Not at all.
And why is that?
Because the movie hasn't done anything to make me feel their relationship.
It's so frustrating, right?
And we saw it in a 2-shot. A 2-shot. Show me her face. Like her sad moment is in a 2-shot from the side.
That's so interesting.
This feels like TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a kind of a journeyman effort.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Alan Taylor, I think his only movie he did after this is that Sopranos prequel.
Oh, interesting.
What's it called? Many Saints of Newark?
Wow. Good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
see, I'm surprised he didn't say "you are terminated" like he did.
Yeah. See, I just kept thinking, oh, more flakes. We got the software. What if he flaked?
That's so funny. See, I think so. I have two thoughts on what they do with the T800 here.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Good. I'm glad they left him alive.
Sure.
But I'm also like, it's pretty silly. Like, right?
It's funny. I remember after seeing it in the theater, hating it. I was like, what? He's liquid metal now? I don't even get it.
Yeah.
This time I actually did understand what the movie was saying.
Sure.
Because they're like, oh, as long as there's a chip,
that's
it can control. I was like, oh, okay. It actually does in their world. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we're talking about. They see him again and they're like, I forget how they pose the question, but he's just like, I've been upgraded. And you're like, okay. Sure you have. Yeah. But what's kind of funny too is I can imagine a filmmaker who's a little more exacting, like Cameron, showing how he got flung out of that thing.
Right.
This is just kind of like CGI. Whoa, he flew out of there somehow. You know what I mean? Like, and then he landed in goo, and now he's upgraded. The end. Da-na-na, da-na. You know what I mean? I mean, am I wrong?
No. Alan Taylor taking the gig and being like, the script sucks, but I think I can fix it. So, well, the lesson there is don't assume that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are. I mean, this is no comment on his skills.
No.
I think it's anybody. I mean, I think you should trust your gut. You should be like, listen, I'll take the gig if I feel like the script is where it needs to be.
Yeah. And so, look, I am critiquing a lot of the visuals and choices and things, but like, it's very realistic to wonder if the script, he couldn't tweak and fix the script along the way. There were a lot of forces, a lot of voices, probably running out of time, things changing. We thought we were going to do this. We ran out of money for that. From Emil, I can't even say the name, Emilia Clarke herself saying she didn't even recognize her friend with what he was going through making this thing. Who knows what he was up against?
Right.
So it's just disappointing all around because this is what we have to live with 10 years later.
Yeah. And that's the frustrating thing. You wonder if not James Cameron, maybe you get like a Guillermo del Toro or a Peter Jackson or something. And what does that look like? Pops is alive. It's okay. He's alive, everybody. It's fine. It's fine.
No, oh, that's what it was. I thought you were dead. No, just upgraded.
Kyle Reese, have you mated with Sarah Connor yet?
Yes.
Get to work.
And then he just takes a seat. Pulls up a chair. But it was even, I mean, we know that we don't know that, I guess. Well,
yeah, the future is no longer set.
Yeah. But I was going to say it'd be nice to see some sort of romantic connection with them a little bit. Like that they've earned along the way in a different way.
They kiss here and it feels very,
necessary.
Anticlimactic. Yeah. Yeah, right. Like, okay, I guess we got to scratch this thing off,
Yeah. By the way, I love that this Kyle Reese is a boy. Let's just call him a boy.
Yeah.
It's not like, so Sarah goes up to him like, hey, kiddo. Like
from that one time you met in the.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I have someone who needs to talk with you. Is that okay? I'm like, you don't even know her.
Yeah.
Like, where are his parents? These strangers all dressed in leather are like approaching your boy out in the garage telling him to memorize
Don't
messages.
you be talking to strangers, Kyle.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Although I really like this. I like this as the conceit, like he's putting a memory in his head that he knows he's going to need later.
Yeah.
A very Bill and Ted, remember a trash can. I love that stuff. So this is a good ending to me. I like this. And like you said, I mean, this is kind of like Looper, right? Where like the memories become jumbled in your brain as time travel keeps happening.
So the idea, but it doesn't make sense to me because this is after it has all happened.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling his younger self Genisys is Skynet so that his future self who time travels back will remember.
Right.
But that future no longer exists.
Yeah. So is it like a loop or is it
right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because there's no indication. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing?
I know.
I felt my brain matter start leaking out of my ear. I was like, oh wait, I should stop.
That's kind of funny. But he's got to do man. He goes full smile.
See, now we got our Terminator family off with new adventures,
Yeah. So, I guess, like you said, John was going to grapple a little bit more with his humanity in the next one. Wait, where is John? He just got blown up.
He got blown up, but I mean, he's comprised of just nanites anyway.
Nanites.
I know you're perpetual bane.
Yeah.
And then I mean, and the mid-credit scene here.
I forgot there was one. I literally, when this was the credits were rolling, I went on my phone and I was like checking messages, and then there was a scene. I was like, "There's a scene," like a Marvel film.
It's crazy to realize. I mean, this summer, that like, we had Fantastic Four came out this summer.
Uh-huh.
The Fan Four stick, I should say.
Right.
All right. Age of Ultron was this summer.
Yeah.
Ant-Man. What else? Oh, Man from U.N.C.L.E. So, like, I mean, there was some quality stuff mixed in there. Straight Outta Compton. That was this summer.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, you put me back in the time period now. And then Force Awakens. Of course, we were anticipating it.
Oh yeah, Jurassic World had also come out this summer.
Oh yeah.
Force Awakens. Wow. Geez.
Can you believe this made under $100 million? Couldn't even make $100 million. That's crazy.
I watched a preview screening of this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It was like the night before it opened, I think.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But before like the word had got out.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, this is going to flop. I knew instinctively. I was like, it's not going to do well.
Yeah.
And for all the reasons we elucidated just in this conversation. So I can't say I'm hugely surprised, disappointed. Yeah, because it's like we have this affinity for the franchise and we want to see it do well.
Mm-hmm.
But you realize like this one tanks,
Mm-hmm.
and then the arrogance of like just 4 years later being like, no, we really mean it this time.
Yeah.
Like, look, I mean, audiences you burn them enough times.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's good or not, and people might argue. I would say that Dark Fate is not much better.
Yeah.
There's some people who like it more, but regardless, here you go.
Yeah.
This is
So this is Oracle's been blown up.
Oracle's been blown up.
What do we see? We see the Genisys is still alive, right?
Yeah.
They forgot to shoot a camera.
See that? Now you
should have shot them all. And the device, is that what it is? Or what is that? Or is that Genisys? Like its soul or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. But dude, so speaking of 2015.
And then we get this really, really weird pop song that starts playing.
Yeah.
It's also kind of weird.
Yeah, I turned it off. But
anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Well, no, but I'm look, take away the words Terminator and the Stan Winston designed robots and things in here. This just feels like any old 2015 action film.
It really does, yeah.
And so kudos to J.J. Abrams, at least tonally. Force Awakens, it was like, oh, damn, that's Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
So I just wish that it, even if it doesn't succeed, I would just love a Terminator film to at least actually feel like it's related to the other Terminator films. Tonally, aesthetically,
And all I would say is at this point, nothing they do with the franchise is ever going to evoke those earlier films.
And that's something I have. That's a me issue now.
Yeah.
Like it's, how many times must I be fooled? Like it's,
right.
So I need to go in there and stop. That can't even be a critique anymore. I can critique the other stuff, but it's not going to happen.
At this point, too many of the pieces have been swapped out. It's like it's not the ship of Theseus.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Even if Cameron comes back and directs, let's say, well, Schwarzenegger's not going to be in it. I mean, it's just too much. Too much time has passed, and I think what it comes down to is, and I've said this. I think I said this with regards to this film. I said this with regards to Dark Fate. We've now seen, 1, 2, 3 different versions of here's what happened after Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I'm not even including this because this is just doing like a whole reboot, right?
Right.
We got T3, you got the TV show, you got Dark Fate, and none have fundamentally convinced me that we even needed to go past T2.
Yeah.
Right. Of those, I would say probably the series is the best, but even that, I mean, it's not necessary,
Mm-hmm.
And we realize this the older we get. Sometimes it's okay to just let a story end, and that's fine.
Although, if I was an eccentric billionaire, and Cameron is like saying, "Hey, I got an idea. I think we're going to do this," and maybe a script even like comes together, then I think I would go like all Airheads. You remember that movie where those heavy metal guys hold the radio station hostage? I think I would hold Cameron. He's like, "But I'm not going to direct it." I'd be like, "Oh yes, you are," and then I would like hold Cameron hostage and use my money and make him make that movie.
There we go. Well, we'll hope springs eternal that you get that opportunity.
Oh, thank you, Zachy.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you. Hey, but you know what? The nice thing is, you and I have an opportunity to meet back up, let's say a year from now.
Dude, I'm into it. I want to see it again. I know I didn't like it, but I want to see it again. So,
well, there we go. So, Dark Fate is in our future. That future is set.
And I am sorry for people who are listening who have a soft spot for this movie. I'm getting ahead a little bit here because Zachy usually says this, but please write in. I would love to hear those takes and counterpoints.
Well, I just want to say I am not sorry because honestly, you are wrong. If you like, you are objectively wrong, and I think you might be a bad person, frankly. So, I think we should be the ones to call that out.
You know what? Yeah, I support your your take on this now.
I feel very strongly about that. But yes, to Brian's point, of course, whichever way you land, you can always email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review, leave a star rating. Also do the same at Spotify. And hey, if you're listening to this on YouTube, please hit like and smash that subscribe button. We also have a Patreon, Brian.
Yes, we do. If you head over to patreon.com/MovieFilmPodcast, hit subscribe for only $5 a month. You'll find every commentary we've ever done and every episode, regular episode moving forward, absolutely ad-free. Our free feed will always be available, but this is our way of providing what we believe is the most satisfying way to enjoy the show. So without random interruptions and ads butting into our conversation. Plus, your subscription goes a long way in helping to support us and helping to sustain producing the show. So if you're interested and able, please head over to patreon.com/MovieFilmPodcast and hit subscribe. We'd be very grateful.
There you go. And if you're looking for me online, you can find me on social media at Zaki's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. You can also find my reviews and writing at the San Francisco Chronicle and also at the Wrap and IGN. What about you, Brian? Where can people find you?
You can find episodes I've written of Young Jedi Adventures streaming on Disney+.
And with that, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been our movie film commentary track for Terminator Genisys. We'll be back.
Good, that's good.